And good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Core Racing GT3 Road to Rio Challenge Series here for round one at the beautiful Spa. We have just finished up qualifying, and they will grid up for an unique setup here this evening. We're going to run a 20-minute race, a sprint race here, and then the field will be fully inverted for the 60-minute feature race this evening. So on pole this evening, they just finished a 15-minute open qualifying session. Back that up there. So on pole, we've actually got Nick Nickerson there in the number 2 car. We've got Nathan Medina in second, Adam Jones in third, Mason Smith, our last night's winner in the Core Premier Series, there in fourth. Carl Handwerk, who finished second last evening, is in fifth. Russell Burton, David Gagaro Jr. in seventh, Mark Thomas in eighth, Mark Gonzalez in ninth, John Nobinger in 10th, Matthew Goring in 11th, and in 12th we have Paul Owen. In 13th, we've got Steve Santana. In 14th, Derek Sherman. In 15th, Christopher Hamilton. 16th, Jimmy Covert. In 17th, Kevin Foster. 18th, Nick Brown. In 19th, we've got Abi Visuvesum. And in 20th, we've got Sean Goodwin. Starting 21st, we've got Nicholas DeVos, Dane Simpson in the 22nd position. 23rd, Ryan McCauley. 24th, Patrick Cooney. 25th, Brandon DeVos. Wonder if there's any relation there to Nicholas. And in 26th, we've got Tim Thompson. And 27th, Wesley Fuller. 28th, Paul Butler. And 29th, John Crane. So as you can see, they are currently gridding up, and we'll get this race started shortly. Will be a rolling start this evening. And while we're waiting for them to do the pace lap here, let's go over to the race analysis. So as I mentioned, we're going to do a 20-minute sprint race here this evening, and then we will have a full invert for our 60-minute feature. And we see our leader there, the number 2 of Nick Nickerson there, leading the pack. On the outside of him, we've got Nathan Medina and Adam Jones in third there as they take the green flag. Here they'll head up Eau Rouge. 2 wide currently back there in second place. Like a little contact there, and it looks like Nathan Medina is going to go around. So far, everybody has dodged him, so great job by everybody there. Meanwhile, up front here, Nick Nickerson has extended his lead right behind him. Carl Handwerk moves up to second with Mason Smith there in third, following closely behind. And we expect Mason Smith to be fast this evening. He won last night's road race at the Charlotte Roval. Now heading through turn 11 as they head down towards turn 12. A very, very fast double left-hander here. Long sweeping turn. We were watching the guys in practice get very loose here in the second part of the turn. A lot of self-spin. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how they, looks like the first 10, 12 cars there make it all through. Let's head back, right further back in the field. We've got a move here for, that is Steve Santana, under pressure by Jimmy Covert there for 14th position. And it looks like Abi Visuvesum there is under pressure by Nick Brown. as they head down this long straight here towards the chicane. The great passing zone right here, late on the braking. Doesn't look like he's close enough, so let's go check back up front. It looks like our leader, Nick Nickerson, there has extended his lead to about 2 seconds in front of Carl Handwerk back there. As you can see, he's just now exiting turn 1. Mason Smith is trailing behind Carl Handwerk here as they head up through Eau Rouge. Like we've just had a pass there for fifth position there as Russell Burton makes a move on David Gagaro Jr. and moves up into 5th place. And it does look like we've had a car go off track. Kevin Foster, let's go back and check that. You can see on entry there. And just a self-spin. Does a good job to get it around, stays out of the wall, but he is going to lose quite a few positions. And let's check up front here. Nick Nickerson still 2 seconds out, but Mason Smith has closed in on our 2nd place car. And back here for 5th, we've got Adam Jones making a move there on David Gagaro. And now he has Burton in his sights for that 4th position. You can see Jones right on the bumper there of Burton as they head down toward the chicane. We can probably expect Jones to pull out here and try to make a move under braking as they do head into the chicane. Oh, we've got a mistake out of Jones. He just gets loose through turn 18 there. And we've got another car with damage. Looks like he was either collected the wall. Go back and take another look at that. As you can see, he gets loose there in turn 18 and just barely clips a... That was, it might have been... That was Gagaro, so let's go back and watch that. Looks like he got tagged there as he was trying to make his way around Adam Jones and ended up collecting the wall over there with heavy front end damage. Meanwhile, up front, Nick Nickerson still out in front by 2.6 seconds. Mason Smith has made his way up into 2nd. He has passed Carl Handwerk there for 2nd position. We'll go back and see if we can find that one and get a replay of that as well. You can see here is where that pass was made as they headed down the Kimmel Straight here. Oh, Carl just back out of it completely there. Not sure what was going on there. I'm not sure if Carl has an issue or what, but now Carl is under pressure for that 3rd position. He has Russell Burton all over the back of him here. And we'll see how defensive Carl Handwerk here in 3rd position. Is he going to try to hold off Burton? We saw him give up the position to Mason Smith there pretty easily. Meanwhile, back here, we've got a battle for 7th. Gagaro back up and catching up to Hamilton there in front of him. But we've got about 4 cars here, all within a second of each other. Looks like that is Paul Owens right behind him, and then we've got Matthew Goering there in the 10th position. Meanwhile, Burton here on the tail of Carl Handwerk as they go up through Eau Rouge. We'll see if he can get a draft and get a maneuver on him as we head down into turn 7. You can see Carl goes on the defensive there, trying to break the draft. He does a good job so far holding him off. You see Burton was very late on the brakes there and took a very late entry into that turn. That is going to compromise his exit as they head through here down toward the long right-hander of turn 10. Meanwhile, back here, David Gagaro Jr. there looking to make a move on Christopher Hamilton. We saw Christopher Hamilton have a good run last night in the Core Premier Series at the Charlotte Roval. And right there, we just had a car, Paul Owens, the number 54, go off the track a bit there. Oh, and it looks like we might have... incident out of Adam Jones. Hopefully not. Yes, he does go off the track there. And Adam Jones is now scored back in the 26th position after that mistake. Up front, though, Nick Nickerson still out front. And why don't we take a ride with our leader here as we head through turn 1. Now they are on the straight here as he heads down toward Eau Rouge. See, up into 5th gear, 150 miles per hour. Little blip of the throttle there as he goes through Eau Rouge. Wide open 5th gear, going to reach about 160 miles per hour as they head down the Kimmel Straight here into turn 7. And late on the braking, gonna flick it in here to the right, but you've got to immediately flick it back to the left and then keep the car to the left as you go back to the right there and gets a good exit. Now he's gonna do the down braking zone here into turn 10, a long sweeping slow right hand turn. You have to wait forever to get back on the throttle. Does a good job, keeps the car on the right side, flicks it into the left here, using the runoff up into 3rd gear on the exit. And then the famous double left-hander here, 4th gear, easy on the throttle as you go through there. Don't want to step the rear out too much. And then we've got another right and then immediately flick it to the left there. Got to be careful to stay on the track here. Don't use too much runoff. And then flick it back to the right here for turn 15. Same thing here. You want to get as good of an exit out of turn 16 as you can, because you'll see now it is wide open all the way down to the chicane. And here he'll be late on the brakes, getting it slowed down all the way to 1st gear. Use as much curb as you can safely, and then try to get a good exit, minimize the wheel spin. And that is a lap around Spa from your leader. Looks like Mason Smith is about 2.4 seconds off of the leader, so they're running very similar lap times. It looks like Mason Smith was about 4/10 quicker that lap. but they are just swapping the fastest lap here. Meanwhile, Carl Handwerk here trailing in third, but he has Russell Burton right behind him in fourth, about 1.3 seconds back. Mark Thomas up to fifth place here. He's up 3 positions since the start of the race this evening. We saw him have a good run yesterday in the Core Premier Series as well. And you'll see Mark Gonzalez there about 7/10 off of Thomas, closing in rapidly. He should be able to make a move in a couple laps if he keeps up that pace. And it looks like Gagaro has made it around Hamilton. It looks like Hamilton might have had an issue. Go back and see if we can catch that. Yes, Hamilton there. You see just losing the rear out of turn 9. And he's gonna lose a couple spots up because of that mistake. Like Paul Owens here in 11th is closing in on Jimmy Covert there for the 10th position. And remember, these guys are racing here in the 20-minute sprint race. At the conclusion of this race, they will do a full invert, and that will determine the starting order for the 60-minute feature race. Owens getting a good exit there, and now he's going to be in the draft in the dirty air here for turn 17 and 18. Fast left-handers. Already seen a couple mistakes out of some drivers here. And we'll see if he can make a move under braking here as they go down into the chicane. Not able to make it work, but right behind him we've got Nick Brown and Nathan Medina battling it out for 12th position. So a great 4-car battle here. As they head down into turn 1, we might see... Yes, we are going to see a move here by Medina as he goes on the inside. Tries to get 2 cars in one move there. And that's going to compromise his exit and allow Nick Brown back by here as they head up into Eau Rouge. Here we'll ride on board with Nathan Medina here as he chases down Nick Brown for the 12th position in the draft here down the Kimmel Straight. Going to pull to the inside and be late on the braking. And he is going to complete that pass. He running right up against the Owens there. Paul Owens for the 10th position here. So, and Jimmy Covert there trying to hold off Medina there right behind him. Medina has some speed. You can see just how much he's closing in the turns on. Oh, we've got a mistake out of Covert as we were watching there, heading through the fast turn 12. Let's go back and check that out again. See if there was any contact there. No contact. Looks like he just had a little oversteer and went to correct it, and unfortunately the car just snapped to the right. Oh, and we've got another crash here. Jimmy Covert involved again. And it looks like it's due to Abi Visuvesam here was off the track in turn 14 and just caused Covert there to just spin around there. And you can see Visuvesam's going to back up and get going again. Meanwhile, up front here in second position, we've still got Mason Smith trailing down Nick Nickerson for the lead. He's closed the gap about 0.2 of a second, but time is running out. We only have about 3.5 minutes left here in this 20-minute sprint race. And we've got a battle brewing up here for the 7th position. We've got Christopher Hamilton facing down Matthew Goering there, and you can actually see he's going to make a move on the inside here as they head into turn 7. And he's going to make that pass stick. Back up here, though, we've still got 3 cars together. There was 4, but we saw Covert make a mistake. Nathan Medina here on the tail of Paul Owens, and then right in front of him, we've got Mark Thomas. Ooh, we can see a bit of a mistake there out of Paul Owens. That's going to allow Medina by. Looked like Owens just got loose on the exit as he hit the exit curb there. Meanwhile, Matthew Goering here is still very close to Christopher Hamilton, who just completed that pass there for 7th position. So we'll see if he can hang on to the rear bumper here as they head toward the chicane. Little under 2 minutes remaining here in this sprint race. Oh, we might have had a mistake out of our leader there, Nick Nickerson, because the gap is now down to 0.6 of a second with Mason Smith right on the tail of him here. We'll ride on board 2nd place Mason Smith here as he chases down Nick Nickerson for the lead. Half a second off of him right now and closing. Mason looks really quick through this section of the track here, turn 7, 8, and 9. We'll see what that gap remains here as they go into turn 10. Nickerson getting a good exit there out of turn 11 as they head toward turn 12. Gap still at around 0.3 of a second as they head down into turn 15. And it looks like time will run out, so we will cross the finish line at the completion of this lap. Mason Smith here, 0.3 of a second behind the leader and closing in the draft here as they head toward the chicane. Could we see a late braking move for the lead? And doesn't look like he is close enough there to make that count. Make sure Nickerson gets a good exit out of the turn here, no mistake. Mason Smith 0.4 of a second back here as they cross the line. So Nick Nickerson going to take home the victory here in the sprint race. Mason Smith 2nd. Carl Hanwork there in 3rd. Russell Burton in 4th. Mark Gonzalez here in 5th. Right behind him, David Gagara Jr. in 6th. Behind him, Christopher Hamilton in 7th. Matthew Goering in 8th. And Nathan Medina there in 9th. Mark Thomas in 10th. That'll round out your top 10 this evening. Good racing there in the sprint race, so we'll wait for the guys to finish up here in the sprint race. Then the admin's got a little bit of work to do to set up the feature race, which will be 60 minutes. And they will also do a full invert for the start of that feature race. So Nick Nickerson there coming home in first in the sprint race, but will have to start in the rear for the feature. So he's going to have quite a bit of work for him moving up through. It looks like, what, 26 cars out on the track. All right, while they get everything set up for the feature race, we are going to go to a quick intermission. All right, and welcome back. Sorry about the short break. They were getting set up there for the 60-minute feature race this evening. We have inverted the field from the results of the 20-minute sprint race that we just completed. So Derek Sherman here will start on pole. Outside of him, we've got Kevin Foster, Jimmy Covert in third, Adam Jones in fourth, John Crane in fifth. In sixth, we've got Paul Butler. Seventh, Dane Simpson. Eighth, Brandon DeVos. Ninth, Patrick Cooney. In 10th, we've got Tim Thompson. In 11th, we've got Abi Visubasam. Sorry about that. And 12th, we've got Ryan McCauley. In 13th, we've got Nicholas DeVos. 14th, Sean Goodwin. 15th, Steve Santana. 16th, John Nobinger. 17th, Paul Owens. 18th, Nick Brown. 19th, Nathan Medina. In 20th, we've got Mark Thomas. 21st, Christopher Hamilton. 22nd, Matthew Goering. 23rd, Mark Gonzalez. 24th, David Gagaro Jr. 25th, Carl Handwerk. 26th, Russell Burton. 27th, Nick Nickerson. And in 28th, Mason Smith. Oh, a little mistake there out of Derek Sherman there on the pace lap. But nonetheless, they will come down here and take the green to start our 60-minute feature event here. It is a timed race at 60 minutes. We expect them to make it on fuel about 11 to 13 laps. And they do have one faster pair this evening. And unlimited sets of tires in the pits. And here they just rounded turn one and the green flag is out. Derek Sherman is going to lead our field down into Eau Rouge. Right behind him, Kevin Foster there in second place. In third, we've got Jimmy Covert, who we saw having a lot of battles in the 20-minute sprint race. Right before that, Adam Jones. Looks like he was very fast in the sprint race, had an early mistake, so now he is starting up front after finishing in the rear. And he is in fourth position there. Jimmy Covert looking up the inside of Foster. Not going to make that work there. And we see, oh, we've already got a spinner. We've got Visavasam there going around as it looked like he made contact with another car. We've got multiple cars off track there. But looking through, looks like the top six come away unscathed there. And Jimmy Covert here is all over the back of Kevin Foster. Oh, we've got a spinner. Who is that? That is John Crane going around there in turn 12. We'll go back and see. Looks like we've got another car going around. Christopher Hamilton here, and just look at this pack going down into turn 12. Massive carnage there, multiple cars involved. Like Nicholas DeVos was involved, Ryan McCauley involved. Meanwhile, out front, Derek Sherman still your leader. Right behind them, we've got Kevin Foster and then Jimmy Covert there in third, trailing very closely here. These top three all within a second of each other. And then Adam Jones there in fourth. We know Adam is quick, and we do expect him to start making some moves here on the three cars in front of him. Then further back there, about 4 seconds behind, we've got Paul Butler, and that rounds out your top five. And it looks like Carl Handwerk, looks like we've had a little carnage there exiting the chicane as we head down into turn one. The two wide all behind them there. They go through turn one. And we do have a move here for third as Adam Jones is going to make a pass there under braking as they headed down the Kimmel Straight there, and moves himself up into third. See a battle here for 15th. We've got Sean Goodwin right in front of him. Mark Thomas making some moves, up 6 positions since the start of the race this evening. In front of him, we've got David Gagaro Jr., who we saw get involved in an incident in the 20-minute sprint race before this. He is up 11 positions so far since the start of the race. And then Carl Hanwick here up a whopping 14 positions since the start of the race, and he is now scored in 11th position. Like Mason Smith still back here in 25th, not able to advance through the field as quickly as Carl Hanwick was. And looks like Nick Nickerson there. Oh, we had a car go around. But Nick Nickerson there looks like he's got a little front end damage from that. Let's go back and see if we can see what happened there. As you can see, a car in front of him. Right, so Nick Nickerson must have gotten his damage before that incident there. So I'm not sure what lap he got that on. But that is definitely going to affect him, at least until the first pit stop when he can get that repaired. He is currently scored in the 18th position, up 9 places. Meanwhile, Adam Jones has just made a pass for P1 here as they completed lap 2. Let's go back and see that pass. Oh, that is not the pass. Sorry about that. The replay lied to me. But he is out front, 1.6 seconds ahead of Derek Sherman. Jimmy Covert starting to catch up to Sherman here in third position. Meanwhile, we've got a big train of cars heading up through Eau Rouge here. We are watching the battle for 10th. Matthew Goering right in front of him. We've got Brown. We've got Cooney. 4 cars all stacked together right here. Who is going to come out ahead? As Goering is going to, no, he will keep that position there. Made a look to the inside, but Brown in front of him just had the preferred line going through there and was able to get a good exit. Meanwhile, behind him, Goering is under pressure from Mason Smith, starting to work his way up through the field, up 17 positions right now since the start of the race. And we're only 6 minutes into the race. So impressive from him. And let's ride on board Mason Smith as he works his way up through the field here. See, now they're heading down toward turn 13. A right-hander followed immediately by a left-hander here. Pretty much single file racing all through here. Very difficult to make a pass. You see a little action up in front of them. But running too wide through here is definitely not preferred. But you want to get a good exit here. You can see we've got a car a little slow there. That looks to be the 77 of Butler. And they're going to go too wide here as they enter turn 17 and 18. Oh, we've got a car going around right in front of them. That is Brown getting loose in turn 18. And here Mason goes down into the chicane up in front of them there. We got a good little battle for 8th position. All right, this is your battle for 6th position. As you can see, Carl Hanwick there just completed a pass on Nobinger there for the 6th position, but Nobinger is not going to give up as he is right on the tail here as they head down toward Eau Rouge. Meanwhile, we've just had a pass for P2. Jimmy Covert drafting down the Kimmel Straight there and making an easy pass on Derek Sherman. for P2. Like Carl Handwerk was able to hold off Nobinger there, but now Nobinger is going to be under pressure from Matthew Goering. Back here in 23rd, we've got Brandon DeVos, who is right on the tail of Tim Thompson here. Delayed on the brakes down through here. It looks like he is going to back out of it though and not complete that pass. The Mason Smith here right behind Matthew Goering, and then right in front of them John Nobinger. Looks like Nobinger is holding up Goering and Smith here a little bit, so we'll see how patient they are as Goering is going to look to the inside here. Little contact from both of them. And now we're 3 wide. Like Goering is going to back out of that. Great move there by Mason Smith, taking it 3 wide and gaining 2 positions in one stretch of the track there as they head down into the chicane. And a little bump there from Nobinger to Goering. I'm not sure if he's a little upset about something earlier in the race, as we saw Nobinger there driving pretty aggressively. Everybody makes it through there, so good hard racing there as we are about to complete 10 minutes of our 60-minute feature race here. We are going to have a battle for third here as Nathan Medina closes in on Sherman very quickly. It looks like he is going to dive to the inside here and complete this pass as we head down into turn 7. He drove it in just a little bit too deep there. That compromised his exit, but he is going to remain in front. Meanwhile, also we've got a battle for 5th here. We just had Paul Owens take a look on the inside of Carl Handwerk, but Carl Handwerk driving great defensive line through there and is able to stay in front in that 6th position. And Mason Smith has caught up to the back of Owens here. And it looks like he's going to make a move here on the inside in turn 12. Going to take away the 6th position. No, Owens is able to fight back there. I really like the way Mason Smith's driving here. He's being patient when he needs to be patient, but is also aggressive when he needs to be aggressive. As we saw last lap, he took it 3 wide once the 2 cars in front of him made a mistake. Was able to gain 2 positions there. So he is definitely making his way up through the field and one to watch tonight. Are we going to see a move here as we head down into the chicane? No, he's going to stay behind Owens. The Owens just took that turn with a little bit too much speed. That's going to compromise his exit and allow Smith to get right up behind him here as we go down into turn 1. And Mason Smith needs a good exit there, but he also needs a little gap in front of him as they head up through Eau Rouge. You don't want to be right on the rear bumper, because then you can't get a good run at the top of the hill down the Kimmel Straight. So he's got a great gap there, a little over a car length, and now he is going to get a great draft down the Kimmel Straight here, already to the outside as Owens does go defensive and blocks the inside, but Mason Smith is going to complete that pass for 6th position. And that was a textbook pass set up all the way back from turn 1. Just great driving there out of Mason Smith, who we saw was our winner last night in the Core Premier Series, so we know he is fast at road courses. Meanwhile, up front, Adam Jones has run away with the lead. He is currently 13 seconds ahead of Nathan Medina here in second place. Meanwhile, Jimmy Covert right behind him started third, still currently third in the race. And right behind him, we've got Derek Sherman, who did start on the pole. He is back to fourth. And then about 3.5 seconds behind them, Carl Handwerk here, making his way up 20 positions since the start of the race. And currently in fifth. Mason Smith here up to six, up 22 positions. As you remember, we did fully invert the field from the results of the 20-minute sprint race here this evening, but they are making their way up through the field very quickly as we are just completing 14 minutes here out of our 60-minute feature event. Nicholas DeVos here, currently in 18th position. Looks like he is trying to run down John Nobinger. That would be for your 17th position. Meanwhile, up here in 8th, but real quick, I'm going to have to go back here to 12th because Nick Nickerson is up into 12th and closing very rapidly on Russell Burton here in the 11th position. You do see that front end damage on Nick Nickerson. Looks like he may have gotten that on the opening lap of the event, as he did have to start in the tail end from that invert. We'll see how much that aero damage compromises his car as he does chase Burton down the Kimmel Straight and is not able to get up to the back of that car. So definitely slowing him down here. Not what he needed this evening, as his competitors, Carl Handwerk, Mason Smith, and Adam Jones, are already up well into the top 5. Now back up to the fight for 7th. Matthew Goering here, still chasing Paul Owens there for that 7th position. He's closed the gap down to about 0.4 of a second here as they are completing lap 7. As they head down through turns 17 and 18 here towards the chicane, we'll see if Matthew Goering is close enough to make a move. Oh, we've got a car off the track there. That was Derek Sherman. Let's go back and see what happened there. Like it's going to be on the exit of turn 18 there, and I think that is probably not the last time we're going to see this evening. The car's very loose, very high speed turn right there, and we could potentially see more self spins just like that this evening. Meanwhile, here the battle for 6. Owens has been able to hold off Matthew Goering for another lap as they head up through Eau Rouge. We'll see if Goering can get a good run, and he does get a great run up through Eau Rouge there. Looks like he is going to clear Owens for the 6th position as they head down the Kimmel Straight. We'll see how hard Paul Owens wants to fight back here, as Paul Owens very late on the brakes. They're going to run too wide here through turns 7, 8, and 9. But Matthew Goering is going to have the preferred line and going to take away that 6th place position. But right behind them, David Gagaro Jr. is cheering at what he's seeing as they run too wide, because that has allowed him to catch up to our 7th place Paul Owens. And right up in front of them for the battle for fourth, Mason Smith has gotten to the rear bumper here of Carl Handwerk. These are very two fast road racing drivers here, and this is going to be a great battle for the fourth position. And it looks like Christopher Hamilton here has passed David Gagaro Jr. for the 8th position while we were riding on board Mason Smith there. Hamilton currently up 13 positions since the start of the race this evening. Well, Carl Handwerk has been able to pull away a little bit there, about 0.8 of a second from Smith. But Smith very fast through Eau Rouge there, gets a very good run as they head down the Kimmel Straight. We'll see Carl Handwerk there go to the inside and defend. And Smith is late on the brakes, but Carl even later on the brakes, so looks like Carl is going to stay in front there. And Mason Smith will have to follow for another lap. Meanwhile, it looks like Carl Handwerk is on the inside there of Jimmy Covert and going to take away the 3rd position there from him. The Mason Smith there compromised there on the exit of turn 15. Sorry, turn 11 as he was going around Covert. And we've got a 3-way battle here for the 7th position. We've got Paul Owens and David Gagaro Jr. And right in front of them, we've got Christopher Hamilton. And we'll see if David Gagaro Jr. here is going to get a good exit and a good run as they head down toward the chicane to complete lap 10. Just a little over 20 minutes into our 60-minute feature here. He is closing about 0.2 of a second off. And we've got a car in the track there. Ooh, that was very close. That is Jimmy Covert. Looks like he's had a self-spin there on the exit of turn 18. Just like we saw a few laps prior there, but ooh, we've got Paul Owens there getting a little loose on exit, had a lot of wheel spin. That is going to allow Gagaro Jr. up alongside him as they head into turn 1. Owens going to take a very narrow line there. That is going to compromise his exit as Gagaro here right on the bumper as he heads down into Eau Rouge. And here we're riding on board the nose of David Gagaro Jr. Looks like he didn't get as great of an exit there at the top of the hill. And he's maybe going to take a move here as they head toward turn 7. No, too far back there, so he's going to have to follow Owens for another lap here. Great exit there. Is he going to try to make a move on the inside here as they head down into turn 10? He looks, but no, Paul Owens is going to shut the door there. Meanwhile, we've got to go back up here for the battle for 3rd. Mason Smith has caught back up to the back of Carl Handwerk here for 3rd position. And it looks like Gagaro Jr. is going to be able to look on the inside of Owens here as they head down into... Is he going to be able to hold it? Yes, he is. So he makes that turn stick right there. Excellent driving from both of these guys here. Now they're on the exit of turn 16, going to head down toward the chicane. We'll see if Mason Smith is close enough to Carl Henwick here as they head down toward the chicane. Is he going to be able to make a move under braking? No, he's not close enough, so he's going to stay behind here and potentially set up a pass like he did previously we watched as they head toward the top of Eau Rouge. And we'll ride on board Mason Smith here as he tries to chase down third place Carl Henwick. Smith getting a good exit there out of turn 1 as they head up to Eau Rouge. Has a nice gap here, so as long as he can not make any mistakes here and get a great run, he may be able to make a move here as they head down toward turn 7. See Carl Henwick doing a great job taking that defensive line, trying to break the draft, and Mason Smith is not going to be close enough as they head into turn 7. Smith just gonna look to the inside there just to show Carl he's there, but then fall back in line here for turn 10. See Carl running very wide there on the exit of turn 10. Looks like Carl is doing everything he can to keep Mason Smith behind him, because he knows once Mason Smith gets by, keeping up with Mason Smith is a whole different challenge, let alone passing him back. They head down into turn 13 and 14. Just completed 25 minutes here of our 60-minute feature race. Just heard Mason Smith have to get out of the throttle a little bit there on the exit of turn 16. And that compromised his exit here as they head down into turn 17 and 18 and toward the chicane. You can just hear Mason Smith in that dirty air, not able to keep the throttle down through turn 18. So he is going to be stuck behind Carl Henwick here as they go through the... Also got a great battle brewing up here for the 8th position. We've got Paul Owens chasing down the 8th position, Russell Burton there. And we've actually got a couple takers to pit lane. We've got Burton and Owens into the pit. Like we'll probably see these guys here go around one more lap before they come to the pit road, because the pit window is open this evening. They are running at 50% fuel. We anticipate that will get them 11 to 13 laps, and we are on lap 12 currently. Mason Smith here going to look to the outside of Carl Henwick as they head down into turn 7. Carl late on the brakes, gonna great line through there, and Mason is going to back out of it and fall right back in line, 4th position still. Some excellent driving here out of Carl Henwick to keep Mason Smith behind him. See, they are catching lap traffic here, so that is going to play a factor. Like Carl got slowed up just a little bit, so Mason Smith now about 0.2 of a second behind him. Meanwhile, up front, our leader, Adam Jones, here is going to come down to pit lane now. So we should expect to see most everyone pit this time by. Nathan Medina there in second place does come down pit road. So he is going to follow our leader in. We'll see if Carl Handwerk and Mason Smith follow suit as well. No, it looks like they are both going to stay out on the track here and complete one more lap. You can see the leader there up in pit lane, up in front of them, but Carl Handwerk here is going to take the lead away from Adam Jones, as Adam Jones is coming down pit road. That will move Carl Handwerk up into the lead with Mason Smith in second, as most of your leaders there pitted this time around. Christopher Hamilton also staying out. He's going to be in third position. David Gagaro Jr. staying out as well in fourth. And then we've got Nick Nickerson here also staying out for one more lap here in the fifth position. Our leader there, Adam Jones, still on pit road. Mark Thomas also going to stay out. He moves up into seventh. Derek Sherman stays out as well. He's in the sixth position. Meanwhile, up front here, Mason Smith is still on the tail of Carl Handwerk here. Ooh, you could see Mason Smith there get loose on the exit of the turn. And that is going to make him lose at least 2/10 this lap. We'll see how hard he pushes it back up. We know they do have to pit here in the next lap or so, as they are on the tail end of this fuel stint. And it looks like they are just trying to extend it as much as they can. Try to reach that halfway mark, which we just hit at 30 minutes, and make this a one-stop race. Adam Jones is going to slot out into 8th position there after pitting. He is the first car down pit road, currently in 8th. As the leaders head into the chicane here, it looks like they both are going to head down pit road now. Christopher Hamilton there in third, entering the chicane. We'll see if he comes down pit road as well. He is. David Gagaro Jr. also coming down pit road. Nick Nickerson is going to come down pit road as well. We've got a spinner there. Derek Sherman around again there in turn 18. Doing a good job to stay out of trouble and not collect anybody with him there as he re-entered the track. Mark Thomas going to come into the pits, and Derek Sherman as well. So Adam Jones here, he will resume the lead this time around, as he pitted last lap. But the question is going to be, can he extend his fuel to the end of the race here on a one stop? We do anticipate Carl Handwerk and Mason Smith being able to do so, but Adam Jones is going to have plenty of time here, a good healthy gap where he could save some fuel and make it to the end of this race. Like Nathan Medina here is going to slot into second place, as he pitted with our leader Adam Jones, currently about 15 seconds off of Jones. And Carl Handwerk here is going to exit the pits in third. And we see Mason Smith right behind him there in fourth, about 3 seconds off of Carl Handwerk, as you could just see Carl there in the bottom left of our screen. David Gagaro Jr. here going to come out in fifth out of pit road. And Nick Nickerson here still with some front end damage. He is going to slot in here to the sixth position. And here's Mark Thomas. Looks like he is currently in seventh, exiting the pits there. And then behind him, we've got Christopher Hamilton there in 8th. And Derek Sherman, who we saw just have a self-spin and turn 18 on his end lap here, is currently in 9th. Then Sean Goodwin here in 10th. It looks like Mason Smith has closed the gap by a couple tenths to Carl Hanwork there for 3rd place. And we'll just pay attention to the lap times here and see how quickly he's able to reel in Carl. We saw him not able to get around him there in that first fuel stint and battled Carl for the better part of 5 laps there toward the end of the fuel stint. And we've got a race off of pit road here. This is for the 14th position. We've got Russell Burton and Ryan McCauley. And you're going to see them race here on the pit exit down Kimmel Straight. Like Russell Burton is going to go to the inside here of McCauley. Going to be able to complete that pass. Moves up in 14th. That time around, Mason Smith actually about 2 seconds slower than Carl Hanwork, so he may have made a mistake there and has lost out a little bit to your 3rd place Carl Hanwork. Picking in here with Jimmy Covert here in the 18th position. Currently chasing down Steve Santana there in 17th. About 1.9 seconds off of him currently. And our 2nd place here, Nathan Medina, currently 17 seconds off of Adam Jones, who's leading this race by a healthy margin. 17 seconds up the road there. And just looking at the lap times, he is the fastest on track right now by a healthy margin. That time by, he runs a 2:21.3. And Nathan Medina ran a 2:21.7. We'll see what 3rd place Carl Hanwork here turns as he crosses the line. Looks like he's going to run a 2:21.1. Mason Smith that time around in 4th with your fastest lap of a 2:20.7. Mason currently the fastest driver on the track. looks like we've had a pass for P7 potentially here. Mark Thomas, yeah, he was able to make it up to 7. He got around Derek Sherman. Not sure what happened to Derek Sherman. He dropped back. Dropped back all the way to P9 here. While up front, Adam Jones has extended his lead out to 18 seconds over Nathan Medina in second. Adam Jones running the fastest lap that time of the race with a 2:20.1. Nathan Medina running a 2:22, so 2 seconds slower per lap right now. Our second place driver is compared to our first place, Adam Jones. Carl Handwerk up in third here, doing a great job to hold off the fast Mason Smith behind him. Gap currently 3.5 seconds. And we've got a battle here for 13th. We've got Patrick Cooney here on looking to make a move here on Russell Burton for 13th. Up here in the battle for 7th, we've got Christopher Hamilton chasing down Mark Thomas. We just completed 40 minutes here of our 60-minute feature event. 20 minutes to go. Christopher Hamilton here about 6/10 off the back of Mark Thomas as he closes in. Just looking at the lap times, Mark Thomas ran 2 seconds slower than Christopher Hamilton that last lap. So with that kind of pace, Hamilton should be able to make a move here very quickly. As we head down into turn 10, not going to look to the inside there, going to stay behind him. Little peak on the inside of turn 11, but not a great passing zone there, so he's going to fall back in line as they go through the very fast left-hander of turn 12. And let's ride on board Christopher Hamilton here as he chases down your 7th place driver, Mark Thomas. Entering turn 14 here. We'll see if he can get a good exit out of turn 16 here and get up to the back of Thomas as we head toward the chicane. Getting a great run through turn 18 there, but not quite close enough. Takes a little peek there on the inside to let him know he's there as they go through the chicane and down into turn 1. We'll see if he can set up a pass at the top of Eau Rouge down the Kimmel Straight like we saw Mason Smith do earlier in the race. Textbook pass. As you can see, Hamilton here, about 2 car lengths separates him from Thomas as they head through Eau Rouge. If he can get a good exit here at the top of the hill, it looks like he's going to do just that and be all over the back here of Thomas. Thomas going to stay to the inside as they head down the Kimmel Straight. And we'll see who's going to be the latest on braking here, Thomas or Hamilton. Hamilton is going to be the late breaker and going to take away that 7th position. David Gagaro Jr. here up 19 positions since the start of the race. Had to start toward the back after finishing, I believe, in the top 5 of the 20-minute sprint race. So good to see him all the way back up into the top 5 here as we close in on 15 minutes remaining here in this 60-minute feature event. But he will be under pressure here soon from Nick Nickerson, who was our winner of the 20-minute sprint race. But you can see he has front end damage there. He got earlier in the race, but he is chasing down our 5th place David Gagaro Jr. And just looking at the lap times, it looks like Nick is 1 second quicker that time around than Gagaro, so we should anticipate a battle here in about a lap. Back here, the battle for 15th. Nobinger on the inside of McCauley. Very interesting passing zone there in turn 12. Normally don't see cars go too wide there, but they do a good job, and Nobinger is going to take away the 15th position there from McCauley. And we'll check in here at Mason Smith, just catching him there on the exit of turn 18. Great camera work to see him sliding sideways, able to hang on to that car. But that cost him quite a bit of time there, as he is still trying to chase down our 3rd place Carl Handwerk. Currently 3.3 seconds separates them two. I am shocked that Mason Smith is not working his way up quicker through the field. We know he is a very fast road racing driver here, but right now it looks like he is placing in 4th position, as we have a little bit under 14 minutes left here in our feature event. Meanwhile here, the battle for 5th brewing up, as Nick Nickerson about 2.4 seconds off of Gagaro Jr. as he heads up through Eau Rouge. Didn't make up as much time that last lap as he did the previous lap on Gagaro. Not sure if Gagaro caught lap traffic or had a mistake, but now he is running the same pace here as Nickerson, so without another mistake, Nickerson is going to have quite a feat on hands here to get into that 5th position. And up here we've got a battle for 12th. Looks like Russell Burton here closing in on the back of Matthew Goering. This will be for the 12th position. Oh, and it looks like we do have a car crashing. Let's go check out. Looks like it is Abi Visu Vasam. Checking the replay here. Not sure if we're going to be able to get a replay of that incident. Looks like, oh, he was just late on the braking there. It triggered an incident on our scoring here, but he just had an off-track moment, so nothing big there. Meanwhile, back up here, Russell Burton less than a second behind Matthew Goering for the 12th position. It does look like Burton has a little bit of right front damage to his car, his BMW there. But he is still closing on Goering. You see Goering there having some connection issues as his car is blinking on and off. That is going to help Burton here as he continues to chase him down. 7/10 separate them as they head down into turn 12. Not sure how much that right front damage there is hurting Burton, if at all. Burton there just slow through turns 15 and 16, so he's going to lose out on a couple tenths to Goering, and Goering is actually going to pull away here out to a 1.2 seconds, 1.3 as they go into the chicane. While we are down to 10 minutes remaining here in our 60-minute feature, Mason Smith still 2.7 seconds behind our third place Carl Handwerk. That time around, Mason Smith was 7/10 faster than Carl Handwerk, but time is running out. We see Carl just going around a lap car there, lost quite a bit of time in that exchange. That is going to be good news for Mason Smith now, as that gap is under 2 seconds. And we'll ride on board Mason Smith here as we go down through turn 1, and he chases down Carl Handwerk here for third position. Ooh, we see a little mistake there from Smith, just too much speed entering the turn. That's going to compromise his exit as they head toward Eau Rouge. A great exit and a great draft there off of that lap car. About 2 seconds behind Carl Handwerk there up ahead, as you can see, as they head down into turn 7. Meanwhile, here the battle for 5th. We've got Nick Nickerson chasing down Gagaro Jr. Gap down to 1.7 seconds here. You can see that heavy damage on the front of Nick Nickerson's car. Meanwhile, up front, dominating right now, Adam Jones, a whopping 18 seconds in the lead here from our second place, Nathan Medina, who has a 7.5 second gap behind him to our third place, Carl Handwerk, who is continuing to hold off Mason Smith, but that gap is now down to 1.5 seconds. It will be interesting to see if Smith is able to catch up to Handwerk. We saw earlier in the first fuel stint that Smith had problems trying to get around Handwerk. Handwerk driving brilliantly and defensively, And as we approach 7 minutes remaining in the feature, we know Carl is only going to get more defensive as he wants to hang on to that third and final podium spot. Gap now down to 1.3 seconds as they head down the Kimmel Straight. Gap now down to 1.1 seconds as Smith is closing in on third place Carl Handwerk here. But we only have about 5.5 minutes remaining here in our 60-minute feature race. If he is able to catch him, will he be able to pass him? That is the question. As you can see now, the gap is down to a little under 1 second. We'll ride on board Mason Smith here as he chases down third place Carl Handwerk. We saw a mistake out of Smith here on the previous couple of laps in turn 18. We'll watch carefully here as he enters this fast left-hander. You can see getting sideways, he's giving it all he has, trying to catch up to Carl Handwerk there for that podium spot. Carl get a great launch there out of the chicane as they head down into turn 1. Meanwhile here we've got a battle for 15th. We have Steve Santana looking to make a move on Patrick Cooney here. But behind him we have Paul Butler. We've got a three-way battle here for the 14th position. Oh, Santana makes a mistake there in the chicane. And that is going to allow Patrick Cooney here to remain in 15th. Right behind him, looks like our lead is down to 8.9 seconds. Nathan Medina here catching on Adam Jones. Adam Jones may be having to save fuel here, as we saw him pit one lap earlier than the cars behind him. Medina is also on the same pit strategy. But we are winding down here to 3 minutes remaining in our feature race, but that gap has went down by about 10 seconds. You can hear he is shutting the car off and trying to save fuel. He may be out of fuel here. As we do come to, oh, we've got a battle here for second as well. Carl Handwerk there. And you can see the green car in front of him and Mason Smith behind him. We have a battle for second. Meanwhile, our leader gap is down to 3 seconds. As Adam Jones does stay on the track, so it looks like he was just saving fuel there down the straightaway. Will he have enough to complete the lap? That is the question here. But Medina also in the same boat as Jones, with Carl Handwerk here in third, approaching rapidly. And then right behind them, we've got Mason Smith in fourth, looking to capitalize on anything that happens in front of him. And this may be a crazy final lap here. We may get one more lap. I'm not sure. But Carl Hanwick there going to look to the inside of Medina, late on the brakes as they head down into turn 7. Medina gives him plenty of space. Carl going to try to stay on the inside there, but no, he is not going to make that move. Meanwhile, Mason Smith there says, thank you very much. I'll catch up to you guys, as he takes a look down into turn 10. Meanwhile, out front, Adam Jones here. Gap is still at around 3.8 seconds. Does he have enough fuel to make it to the end? But you could throw a blanket over these 3 cars here. This is your battle from second all the way to 4th, as Medina is trying to hold off Carl Hanwick here. And this is going to be an excellent into the race here as they drag race down towards turn 17 and 18 in the chicane. While Adam Jones here 3.8 seconds ahead. We'll see if anybody's close enough to make a move here as they go toward the chicane. But Adam Jones here, time is going to expire, and he is going to check the checkered flag here and win this evening, round 1 at Spa. Medina here going to come home in second, Carl Hanwick in third, and Mason Smith bringing it home in fourth. Behind him, we've got Gagaro Jr. here in fifth, but right on his tail is Nick Nickerson. Is he going to be close enough at the exit of the chicane? No. Gagaro Jr. is going to come home in fifth. Nickerson there in sixth. In seventh here, we've got Christopher Hamilton. Has a healthy gap behind him to the 8th place car, so he will come home here in 7th position. And then behind him there, we've got Mark Thomas, who will come home in the 8th position. Good run from him, up 12 spots since the start of the race this evening. Then we've got Sean Goodwin here in the 9th position. Gonna bring it home 9th, has a healthy gap behind him. And right behind him there in 10th place, we've got Derek Sherman, who started on the pole with the invert here in the feature, bringing it home in 10th place. Good top 10 run from him. Russell Burton here in 11th. And right behind him, we've got Abhi Visuvasam, gonna bring it home in 12th. And now we'll bring up the official results here this evening. Adam Jones bringing it home with the win. Nathan Medina there in second. Carl Hanwick in third. Mason Smith in fourth. And David Gagaro Jr. there rounding out your top 5. We'll let the guys here celebrate their win, their podiums, and then we will bring them up for some interviews. All right, the drivers are making their way here into the waiting room, and we'll get a word momentarily here with our third place finisher this evening. And congratulations, Carl, on your podium finish, bringing it home in third. And hey, we're talking to you again after talking to you last night up here in the podium booth here. Gotta
Yeah,
ask
listen,
you,
I'll,
man.
I'll I'll talk to you all week if that's what it's gonna be.
Hey, man,
It's- oh
we'll
man.
just keep it going here. But man, heck of a run there. You had Mason Smith behind you that entire race. We know Mason is fast. What was going through your mind there? You probably knew you had to hold him off because once he gets around you, he's going to take off.
Yeah, I have pretty decent speed here. Enough to hang with him for the most part. But when I got a penalty in the sprint race in that first one, that made me slow down and let him by. And then I was catching both him and Nick for a little bit, but it wasn't gonna happen. Um, but yeah, for this endurance race here, once I got around him, I knew, I could play a little bit of mind games and try and keep him behind. And there were a couple times where I thought he was just going to get by. Where, at the end of the long straightaway there, I thought he was going to get around me on the outside of the turn, but it was just enough to kind of hold him off. But it was not easy.
Yeah, great defensive driving from you here this evening. Gotta ask, on the start of the feature race with the invert and you're starting in the back, we saw a couple drivers such as Nick Nickerson have trouble and get caught up and get some damage. What was your strategy coming up through the field there on those opening few laps?
Aggressively safe, if that makes any kind of sense. I want to try and be as safe as possible, but I knew if I can get through the field quicker than those guys, I'd have a better shot at least, kind of checking out a little bit. I knew, if once they got through that they could, possibly run me down, which, Mason did a couple times there. But, at least gave me a little bit of a buffer and a little bit of chance to maybe relax for a couple laps and kind of run my race before they finally made their way through. But same thing. That was not easy. I definitely took a couple bumps and bangs along the way going through the field there.
Well, again, congratulations on your third place finish. While you're here, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just the usual. I want to shout out to everybody here. This was a great turnout for our first season of doing this. I want to shout out Joker Graphics for the great paint scheme that he has for myself and my teammate Mark Thomas. Um, really good looking for this revolutionary racing team. Um, Wood Nickel Woodworking, you guys, Soak Tires Broadcasting, appreciate everything you do, and Raise Energy. It's I said it last night, but it's a blast to come out here and race with these guys because there's a lot of guys that are really fast and really make you push.
Absolutely. Looks like we head to Road America next. How do you feel about that track? Personally, one of my favorites. Excited to see you guys drive that one.
Yeah, that one I think is going to be a little bit more opportunities for passing. So I think when it comes to the endurance race, it should shake out a little bit more to kind of whoever was in the tops of the sprint, if they can make their way through somewhat easier that time, then could be kind of repeat winners. But yeah, I mean it's probably going to be a lot of drafting and a lot of late braking, especially at the bottom of that hill. That's gonna be scary.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know you are. Again, congratulations on your third place finish. And hey, let's keep the streak going. Got to talk to you next week as well.
Sounds like a plan. We'll make it a date.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. And that was your third place finisher, Carl Hanwork here. Now we'll bring up Nathan Medina. Hey, Nathan, it's Kevin up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, man. First of all, congratulations on that second place run. First question we got to ask here, how close was it on fuel?
Um, it was actually pretty close. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I was actually ready to pull into pit if Adam had not waited for the last white flag to come across because of the timed. I was gonna pull into pit, but I didn't think I was gonna make it. I switched to map 3 and was just coasting and giving up a lot of time to Carl behind me, so I just wanted to make it to the end and hopefully didn't run out of fuel.
Yeah, well, that was the question on our mind because both you and Adam Jones pitted right before that 30-minute mark, and we knew it was going to be close. But yeah, we saw Adam laying back there to wait and cross the line so that there would only be one more time for one more lap. So that was good heads up driving from him. Gotta ask though, once Carl caught you there for those last couple laps, how hard was it to keep him behind you?
Well, I knew he didn't have a run going up a Rouge, but he had a run, but he was too far back to actually make a dive, like a dive bomb stick, especially with the tires so worn down. And he had pressure behind him by Mason anyway, so he wasn't trying to give up his spot and risk of trying to get P2. So I didn't feel much pressure until after we got through sector one, and then I knew I was just pretty much coasting to the end, about a half second ahead of him. And he wasn't really gaining. It's hard because everyone was on worn tires, and it's just too risky to really push it, especially with how bad the tires were at the end.
Absolutely. Well, again, congratulations on your second place finish. Hey, while you're here, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Dave. Um, he definitely did not want to do this race, how late he had to stay up, but I have to give a shout out that he stuck it in there and finished P5, so that's for him.
Yeah, good run by David Gagaro Jr. there, bringing it home in P5. That was an awesome run for him, but better run for you coming home in second. Next week we head to Road America. How do you feel about that track?
I have a lot of experience on that track. I'm looking forward to that one as well. So can't wait to see the pace that some of these guys are going to bring to it. So I see what I'm up against. But definitely adds a twist to it when fuel comes to an issue at the last couple minutes of the race.
Absolutely. Well, again, congratulations on that second place finish. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you again next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, that'll do it for our second place finisher, Nathan Medina there, bringing it home second. And now we'll try to get a word with our winner of this evening. We've got Adam Jones. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Adam, is Kevin up in the broadcast booth? You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, excellent run there. Pure domination, bringing it home with the win. Gotta
Well,
ask, how did that car feel tonight?
it was good, and it also helps to get that, starting spot way up front when all the competition's in the back. That helps.
Absolutely. I want to ask, but you don't have to answer this question. Was that a little bit of a strategy play there in the sprint race?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I let the timer run down so I could shorten the race up by a lap.
Yeah, we saw that move there at the end. I wasn't sure how close it was going to be on fuel for you because we saw you and Nathan Medina there pit a little bit under that 30-minute mark, but good strategy by you, heads up driving by you there to shorten the race there, and you ultimately made it home. How close was it on fuel though?
I probably could have stretched another lap out of it. Actually, I had plenty,
Yeah, we heard
but
Nathan. Nathan said he was extremely close on fuel. I think he was running out as he crossed the line, so we're doing a little
yeah,
more fuel saving there.
I saved. The, I waited late to even start saving, but I really saved too much. I think. Uh, and especially with shortening the race up by a lap, it let me have another. I could have probably won another 2 laps, but it was tight either way. I was worried.
Well, if came home, finished first. Next week we head to Road America. How do you feel about that track?
Oh, I'll probably end up stuffing it out in the woods somewhere, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, very fun track, but very tough. Like you said, if you get a tire wrong, you are into the wall or the woods. So,
Yep.
but you took it home first here. Got to ask while you're here, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I just think Core Racing League for putting on a good show, man. A good idea on their part, and thank you guys for the broadcast. I was watching it last night. You guys did a really good, or you did a really good job with that. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I really appreciate the kind words there. Bringing it home first. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk to you next week if you don't stick it in the woods and have a good finish there at Road America.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Yep, take care. All right, that will do it here for our round 1 here of the Core GT3 Road to Rio Challenge Series at Spa. A very action-packed race. We saw a little bit of strategy with the sprint race and the invert there from Adam Jones to take home the win tonight. And Nathan Medina coming home in a close second, and Carl Handwerk doing an excellent job to hold off very fast Mason Smith. And actually, Mason was last night's Core Premier Series winner at the road course. So doing a great job there. David Gagaro Jr. bringing it home in the top 5. Excellent run from him. Well, but it was an action-packed night here. We thank all of you for tuning in here to Soak Tires Broadcasting. We also thank all of the sponsors here that put on the Core Series races. We want to thank Raise Energy, Joka Graphics, and Wooden Nickels Woodworking for helping us put on this league and have some great racing week in and week out. Thank you all for tuning in.